Hello everybody, today back in another video. Oh boy, Carlos Alcaraz has just won his 7th Master 1000 title and has won his 11th big title in his career, and is extending his big title over Jannik Sinner. Jannik Sinner has won 8 big titles. Carlos has now won 11 big titles. Carlos has won 7 Master 1000 titles and has also won 4 Grand Slams. That makes it to 11 big titles. Jannik Sinner, who has won 4 Master 1000 titles, 3 Grand Slams, and 1 ATP Tour finals, which makes it to 8. Yeah, the superstars of tennis, the alpha hunters of tennis, Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner. Jannik Sinner, who came into this match with some unbelievable performances in the quarterfinals and semifinals, was bagging players, baggled Casper Ruud in the quarterfinal, baggled Tommy Paul in the semifinal. But when he came up to Carlos Alcaraz, the super Spaniard who is just sweeping the floor on this clay court season with players, and who has just lost 1 match in this clay court season so far, which was in that Barcelona final against Holger Rune, a match that Holger Rune, a fabulous match, one of his best performances ever that I've ever seen Holger Rune perform, especially on clay. Despite that loss from Carlos Alcaraz, he has swept the floor with everybody else, and he did that also with Jannik Sinner in this final. 7-6, 6-1. After 1 hour and 45 minutes, Carlos Alcaraz, my tennis friends all around the world, is sending a message. Carlos Alcaraz, my tennis friends all around the world, is giving a statement. Carlos Alcaraz, my tennis friends all around the world, is warning his rivals. Carlos Alcaraz, my tennis friends all over the world, is showing to everybody in the world that who is the man to beat on this clay court season. He is showing to everybody in the world that who is the man to beat at the French Open, who is just around the corner. Carlos Alcaraz is showing to everybody that I am the defending champion in French Open, which will start in a couple of weeks. Coming to this final against Jannik Sinner, gave my slightest edge to Jannik Sinner. I thought that Jannik Sinner will win in 3 sets. Of course, I was not sure about that prediction. If I would have been sure, I would have predicted Jannik to win in straight sets, which I didn't. I thought that this match will be very, very close. It was not, besides the first set. That first set was close, which a set that Carlos won 7-5 in the tiebreak. They went toe-to-toe with each other. We didn't see any break of serves in that first set, even though that Jannik had 2 break-point opportunities, couldn't convert any of them. By the way, those 2 break-point opportunities were also set points in that 12th game of the first set, in that 6-5 game, where Carlos Alcaraz, he saved himself with some big serves, especially the first one, where the first one he landed on the he hit a big first serve, and Jannik couldn't return it, and Carlos never did it hit to hit any more ball, because Jannik had an unreturned serve there. And then the second set point, Jannik Sinner was going for a low percentage of shot with a down the line backhand, which he missed with which he was not even close of hitting the line. So there was those 2 set points opportunities vanished, and then it was a pretty long game, that 12th game of the first set. By the way, we had a lot of juices in that 12th game of the first set, but in the end, Carlos leveled that first set 6-all, and then they went into a tiebreak. And then in the tiebreak, Carlos Alcaraz was ahead a step forward, and he was ahead in the score all the time. And then he won that first set tiebreak 7-5 with a really great net with a great finishing at the net on set point. On the second set point, because the first set point Sinner saved in that first set, but in the second, Carlos, he capitalized. And then in the second set, You look, Carlos Alcaraz, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I most likely you have, is an unbelievable front runner. If he starts to get the lead, he really rarely looks back. He just pushes that beast mode button and he doesn't look back. He goes in that lockdown mode and he just eats you alive like a fish. And that was the case in that second set when he gave Sinner a breadstick and won that second set 6-1. Carlos actually had also one break punch opportunity in the first set, but couldn't convert. So we didn't have any breaks of serve in the first set. In the second set, Carlos broke Sinner's serve 2 times out of 2 break punch opportunities and won that second set 6-1. Sinner didn't see any single break punch opportunity in the second set. Sinner didn't break Carlos' serve one single time the entire match. So, what can we say? Carlos did 4 aces, 2 double faults, landed 64% first serve sin. He won 73% behind his first serve. He won 59% behind his second serve. Broke Sinner's serve 2 times out of 3 breaking punch opportunities that he had, and did all in all 19 winners and 31 unforced errors. He does 12 more unforced errors than winners. How was Sinner's stats? Sinner does 1 ace only, 3 double faults, so he is negative in the ace double faults ratio there. He lands 60% first serve sin. He won 71% behind his first serve, so he was not crushed in winning points behind first serve. Carlos won 73% of the points behind first serve. Sinner won 71, so it was not a big difference there. The biggest difference was winning points behind second serve. Sinner won only 43% behind his second serve, compared with Carlos, who won 59% of the points behind his second serve. So there you have the biggest difference in the match, according to me, in winning points behind second serves. And then Sinner, like I said, didn't break Carlos' serve one single time in the entire match, and he had only 2 break punch opportunities, which was also 2 set points. In the first set, didn't convert in any of them. And then in the second set, Sinner didn't see any break punch opportunity in Carlos' serve. And Sinner couldn't hit through Carlos in this match. He barely did any winners. He did only 7 winners and 30 unforced errors. Yeah. You see how bad all the stats Sinner had in this match? He does 13 more unforced errors than winners. No, what I'm talking about, not 13. 23. 23 more unforced errors than winners Sinner did in this final. So, if you have that kind of stat against a super world-class player like Carlos Alcaraz, you will not win a match like this. You will not even take 1 set, even though it was close that Sinner, he was really close in winning 1 set, Sinner, in that first set. But with 7 winners only and 30 unforced errors, 23 more unforced errors than winners, you will not win a tennis match against Carlos. In the unforced errors ratio, they were close against each other. Carlos does 31 unforced errors, Sinner does 30 unforced errors. But in the winner department, there you have the big difference. Sinner was doing only 7 winners, Carlos was doing 19 winners. So Carlos was doing 12 more winners than Jannik Sinner in the match. So Sinner couldn't hit through Carlos Alcaraz. And I know why. Before this final started, I have not highlighted one thing, which is a mistake from my side. I take it on my part. When I'm wrong in something, I am the first one to admit it. I know this, of course. I'm not stupid. I've seen Carlos Alcaraz play tennis for many years, and I have hyped him a lot. You guys who follow my videos knows this, and I have even get some trash. Some of you have said to me that you are overhyping Carlos Alcaraz. Now, I don't think I don't think I'm overhyping Carlos Alcaraz. I don't think that now that we know what kind of a player he is and what kind of a big match player that he is, I'm going to talk about that soon, about which kind of a big match player that Carlos Alcaraz really is. I'm not overhyping the guy. Anyway, so I know Carlos Alcaraz attributes and his skills, but one thing that I didn't highlight before the match, I don't know why I did this mistake, because I know this skill that he has, and I didn't highlight his movement. He's such an unbelievable mover. He's maybe one of the fastest tennis players that we have ever seen. For sure, he's the fastest on tour in today's game. Absolutely, nobody is faster than him in today's game right now in tennis. But maybe he's the fastest ever tennis player that we've ever seen. And when you put these two players on a clay court, Sinner, even though Sinner hits the ball really heavy from the both wings, forehand and backhand, on clay, because clay is the slowest surface we have in tennis, Sinner needs to hit the winner 3-4 times. If you're getting my point, it is not enough in this Carlos Alcaraz hitting one shot, two shots, and you win the point. No, Carlos is so unbelievable fast, so he will force you to hit a bunch of shots to be able to hit through him. And on clay is much easier. It's much harder to do than on hard court or on grass. So that's why Sinner was doing so many unforced errors. He was feeling helpless out there. He was feeling frustrated. He could not hit through Carlos Alcaraz. And Sinner doesn't have the versatility like Carlos. He doesn't have any B plan or C plan in his pockets. Sinner knows he's a blow-to-blow player. He hits blow after blow after blow after blow from the baseline. He doesn't have the touch like Carlos Alcaraz. He's not the greatest net player. He tried to go at the net sometimes. He failed. Sometimes he succeeded, but he failed also a couple of times. So he didn't attack the net so much because he is not comfortable at the net, Jannik Sinner. And from the baseline, he couldn't hit through Carlos because Carlos Alcaraz is such unbelievable fast player. He's lightning fast, so Sinner couldn't hit through him. That's why he did only 7 winners. And 30 unforced errors, 23 more unforced errors than winners. Because it is all because of Carlos Alcaraz. Yes, he didn't do his match of his life, of course, but it is also, the reason to that is Carlos Alcaraz. You know what I've said many times, my tennis friends all over the world. You play as good as your opponent allows you. Carlos, on the other hand, he plays tennis. He's more versatile than Sinner. He can go at the net. He can play. He has that kick serve on his second serve, which was doing a lot of damage to Jannik Sinner. He can play more with net clearance. According to me, Carlos has more net clearance than Sinner, so he can play with more with heavy balls close to the baseline, with depth, and he can just put some RPM on the ball and buy himself time. And then Sinner, he needs to just hit and blow Carlos Alcaraz off the court, which is easier said than done, especially on clay. And that was exactly what happened here. And that's why, before this final, I didn't highlight Carlos Alcaraz lightning fast skills, which I should have done. And that's why Jannik Sinner, I will say it right now, right here, he will never be a favorite against Carlos Alcaraz in a clay court match again. For him to be a favorite against Carlos Alcaraz in a clay court match, he needs to prove a lot of things coming into that match. He needs to win a lot of clay court tournaments, at least, especially some Master 1000 tournaments, which something that Sinner has never done. On clay, I mean. Of course, he has won Master 1000 tournaments, Sinner, 4, but not on clay. So Sinner has never won a Master 1000 title on clay. So, and Carlos has now won 2, Monte Carlo and Rome. And Madrid also, so I forget, Madrid also, he has won Carlos Alcaraz. So, Carlos has won 2 Master 1000 titles on clay this year, but if you look in his entire season, he has won several clay court tournaments on clay. Sinner, if I'm not mistaken, Sinner has won only 1 clay court title in his career, which was Umag a couple of years ago. By the way, he defeated Carlos Alcaraz in that final, which now but it was a couple of years ago. I believe it was back in 2022, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. 3 years ago. So anyway, Sinner will have tremendously difficult times in defeating Carlos Alcaraz on clay. Sinner reminds me a little like Federer against Nadal. I'm gonna explain you how, in which way. Federer looked superior on clay against other dudes. Federer was not weak on clay. Yes, clay was his weakest surface, absolutely, we all know that, but he was not weak. He had, for God's sakes, 5 French Open finals. 4 of them, it was against Rafa Nadal, which he lost all of them. And when he faced one other dude in a French Open final, who was not named Rafa Nadal, he defeated him in straight sets, which was Robin Söderling back in 2009. So my point is, Federer was not weak on clay. He was not weak like Pete Sampras, for instance. Pete Sampras never made it to a French Open final. And he looked really good, Federer, on clay at French Open before he faced Nadal. But when he faced Nadal, he was bleeding on steroids. Why? Because Nadal was the reason to that. He couldn't hit through Nadal. Because Nadal, what makes Nadal so strong on clay? Unbelievable movement. He has such unbelievable defensive skills. It's so hard hitting through him. And of course, he has also a great offensive arsenal. That is the case with Carlos. Carlos has unbelievable movement. It is so hard hitting through him because he's lighting fast. He has such defensive skills, but it finishes not there. He also has great offensive skills, a la Nadal. The difference is with Carlos and Nadal, Carlos, he's more offensive than Nadal, at least according to me. Carlos has a bigger serve than Nadal, at least according to me. So Carlos is a mix of Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic, all 3 of them. Sinner is a new version of Novak Djokovic, but with bigger hitting. There you have the difference. So, and maybe also, now Carlos has 4 consecutive wins against Sinner. 3 last year. I'm not counting that 6 King Slam thing, even though both Sinner and Alcaraz was going at it in that match in Saudi Arabia because of the money. We all know that it was huge money on the price, on the stake, on the line, I mean. So Sinner won that match against Carlos in Saudi Arabia in 3 sets, but it was not a typical exhibition match. We all know that Carlos and Sinner were playing like their life was on the line. I saw that match. But that match is not on the head-to-head record. So the head-to-head record is 7-4 for Carlos now, not 7-5. That victory that Sinner got over Carlos in Saudi Arabia doesn't count. Anyway, so now Carlos has 4 consecutive wins against Jannik Sinner. 3 last year and 1 now this year. They face each other for the first time in this 2025 season. So is Carlos a bad matchup for Sinner? I will not say that right now, but if Carlos keeps on beating Sinner, say 2-3 more matches, and makes it to 6-7 consecutive wins against Sinner, then baby, I will call Carlos Alcaraz a bad matchup for Sinner. After all, it was 2 years ago that Jannik Sinner last time defeated Carlos Alcaraz. It was, I believe, in that Beijing match 2 years ago on hard court. And before I wrap this video out, Carlos Alcaraz has now played 11 big finals in his career. 7 Master 2000 finals, he has won all of them. 4 Grand Slam finals, he has won all of them. Out of 11 big finals that Carlos Alcaraz has played, my tennis friends all on the world, he has won all of them. Talk about being a big match player. Who will be the man to beat at French Open? Who will be the #1 favorite at French Open? You know his name by now, my tennis friends all over the world. I don't even need to mention it. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give a thumbs up, subscribe, peace!